we get to the bulk of the video. That's right. I want to put this smack dab in the middle and make sure you guys would wait for it, but this is Nathan fucking Prescott. Hell yeah, Nathan, whatever the fuck, Prescott. So, a lot of people try to come at Nathan with this psychosis shit. I could not agree more. Psychosis, I believe, isn't actually a mental disorder. Feel free to fact check me on that, but from what I've been told and what I've explored and researched, psychosis is a mental state. It's a state of mind in which you can't differentiate fact from delusion. You can't differentiate reality, the real world, from a delusional world, a world in your mind. Now, the main reason for this, I believe I was scouring through some forums, and the main reason I saw for this is because Nathan was prescribed diazepam. But diazepam's a sedative, and I have good authority to believe Nathan isn't on it and is never on diazepam. Because one, if he was, he wouldn't twitch so much. You see right at the beginning of the game, Chloe shoves Nathan and the gun jerks in his hand and he fires. Now, either that was a knee-jerk reaction or a full-on twitch or spasm. I'm not going to pretend to know. All I know is that if he was on diazepam, if that was a spasm or a twitch, it likely wouldn't have happened. Also, Nathan parties like a fucking thug. I don't know, I don't know what a normal amount of drugs is for people, but when we go back and we look at Nathan's record, everything he orders from Frank, it's kind of surprising he's still alive. And apparently, he was only dwarfed by the late and great Rachel fucking Amber, who I'm not even going to pretend to see on this list, right? Oh, there you are. Oh, we should probably talk about you too. Oh, but that Sinister Six joke at the beginning was fucking perfect. We might talk about Rachel next time. Oh yes, Nathan did kill her, which is another thing we have to talk about, right? We'll get to that. Diazepam also impairs your your judgment and coordination, along with your memory, and of course it can be lethal if he does it with alcohol, which we have on good authority. We know Nathan does. Not only does Nathan do drugs, his father enables him to get the drugs and alcohol, liquor, whatever, and that's the main thing we gotta talk about, right? Fuck, I say the main thing, but we're still a bit from that. So psychosis, primary psychosis in the state of psychiatry, like I said, is that delusional state where you can't differentiate fact from reality. Now, it's typically a bunch of haves and don't haves, right? They call it positive and negative traits. Positive traits are things present in psychosis that normal people don't have. And negative traits are traits absent in psychosis that normal people do have. So when you think of a positive trait for psychosis, there's internal stimuli, right? So these people are victim to hallucinations and delusions. Hallucination is any type of perception in the absence of stimuli, i.e. psychotic people are going to hear voices a lot. That is something present in psychotic people that is not present from normal people. But you also have absence, right? So we're taught the 5 A's, one of which being, I guess we can talk about affect. When we talk about affect, however you pronounce it, is facial expressions, right? Nathan makes way too many facial expressions to be psychotic. But we also have to talk about alogia, and that's a really fancy way of saying speech. People who suffer from alogia, these people don't talk. Sometimes they don't talk for hours, but records indicate people of going up to months or up to a year without talking at all. Does this man look like someone who's ever stopped talking in his fucking life? No, he doesn't. Also, there's a disorganization in your speech and behaviors. Some psychotic people actually look at and repeatedly walk into walls to gain that stimulation from that, I guess. You also have psychotic people who use clang association. So they're trying to add into the conversation, but their brain makes the wrong connections. So if I were to tell you, how's it going in school? You would think school, and you would think things related to school, papers, notebooks. Oh, that was in my day. I guess now it's notebooks, tablets, electronics, computers, stuff like that. But if a psychotic person, right, if you were to tell them, hey, how was school? They would find other connections to the word unrelated to school. and they'd be like, "Oh, what kind of school are you talking about? Remoraid's, clownfish, goldfish," because they're not thinking of a school, they're thinking of schools of fish. That might be the connection they make. Some people just rhyme, so I'm like, "Hey, what's up with school?" They're like, "School, I'm down to fool, and you're a tool." I think I just hurt my own feelings, but yeah, that is how clang association works. And it's not that Nathan shows no signs of psychosis. I guess he doesn't. But that's not the only thing. It's also that he shows so many more signs for his actual personality disorder, right? And when we talk about Nathan, and we'll talk about Frank in a sec afterwards, but when we talk about Nathan, we have to talk about antisocial personality disorders. And antisocial personalities are, I guess we're talking psychologically, these are people that show persistent patterns infringing the rights of others. It's on purpose, and typically they show a lack of remorse for it, and if they do, there's not enough remorse to stop them. First of all, this is primarily prescribed in adults, but I believe they're loosening up on that a little, reducing the age at which someone can be prescribed to this to about 15. And that's a net good, because the earlier we can catch antisocial behaviors, the faster we can root them out. Because a lot of antisocial people, I've known antisocial people, they're not bad. A lot of them just grew up in bad environments. But of course, in my case, and maybe the case of one Frank Bowers, actually, no, he did go to Blackwell, which means he probably has some scratch on him. He's a flunk. I'm just fucking wrecking shit over here. But a lot of guys I'm talking about, they came from less than savory backgrounds where antisocial behaviors are taught. Nathan comes from a very affluent background where antisocial behaviors can still be taught. So what are these antisocial behaviors I'm talking about? In a DSM, they give the pseudonym acid liar. So these are adults that partake in criminality, impulsivity, disregard for safety, lying, irresponsibility, aggression, and remorselessness. So if we go through this, Nathan has all of these. Let's talk about criminality. Nathan shuttles drugs in and out of his school all the time. No remorse for it. That's criminality. Also, within the game, he's killed a girl, and if Max doesn't rewind time, he actually moves on to kill another one. Again, criminality. Now, I guess we can talk about a few more. Let's talk about impulsivity. He shoots Chloe. It's not like he was unprovoked, but that's just bad trigger discipline, let's be real. We have lying. He's in front of the principal, Jefferson, and the lead of fucking security at the school, and all he can think to do is cover his own ass. He wants to take none of the blame for Kate, and he's taking none of the blame for bringing a gun into the school bathroom. Oh yeah, he has a gun on him at all times. Irresponsibility, having a gun on him at all time. And aggression. Nathan seems to believe he can solve every confrontation with aggression. Nathan also starts just about every confrontation he has in the game. And we're going to talk about more of the aggression of antisocial behavior types. But I pretty much tagged at the end of everything that Nathan does not feel bad for anything, and that's the last trait, remorselessness. Unfortunately for Nathan and all of the people around him, antisocial behaviors are typically taught. Whenever a problem comes up involving Nathan, his dad absolutely bullies the fuck out of anybody who brings it up to his attention. We see this right in the middle of the game when we're going through Principal Wells' notes. Chloe says that Nathan's track record reads like a fucking rap sheet. But every time something is brought up, his dad stamps it down. It's not just his academic failings, right? Nathan almost gets a write-up from one of his teachers, but his dad just threatens to take away all academic funding that he's providing for Blackwell if they choose to go forth and give him a full-on write-up and ruin his markless record. So he's absolutely above discipline. And what does this teach Nathan? This teaches Nathan that when a problem comes up, you have to stomp it into the dirt. No one messes with the Prescotts. I wouldn't be surprised if he actually did think that he, not his dad, owns all the cops at Blackwell. I'm sorry, in Arcadia Bay. Nathan's father not only ingrains antisocial behaviors into Nathan, but the Daddy Prescott also actively admonishes anyone who's trying to help Nathan, and that's the big part. So what are we left with? A child who is violent, a child who knows how to get his own way, a child who isn't afraid of low criminality, a child who doesn't care what happens to the people around him, and is absolutely remorseless to anything he does. Yeah, antisocial personality disorder was pretty much made for Nathan. we're not actually talking about you, but if you want to know, she's probably the most toxic person in this whole game, and she's not even in it. We can put Rachel down for now.